everybody. Tom Nappy here, and we are joined by Hopkinton Water and Sewer Manager Eric Carty. Eric, how are you?
I'm doing well, Tom. Thanks for having me on, as always.
Absolutely. I know you guys have been busy at the DPW, but we're glad to have you back on. We'll talk some weather in a little bit and what kind of winter could possibly be. But how's everything going at the DPW? And hopefully you guys aren't too busy in these days where it's starting to get a little chilly out there.
Yeah, nowadays, I mean, there's always something going on. We've got lots of projects going on. I wish we were talking during the middle of a pouring rainstorm right now because that's our biggest issue right now is just well, it ties in with the weather, but the total lack of rain is severely affecting our water supply. Um, we've basically had an inch and a half of rain in the past 2 months. So thankfully, this time of year, most of the people have the sprinklers off, and there's not too much outside usage. So we're just hoping we can make it through here without any wildfires. There's a lot of surrounding communities have had them, and that could be devastating if we get one right now. We've had to cut back our well production, so we're just hoping we make it through till we start to see some rain. So. Other than that, we have some other state projects going on. The EPA and the just came out with a new lead and copper rule that required us to go through and identify all of the services in town. So unfortunately, our forefathers didn't have all the best records in town. So we'll be sending out letters that people are going to be getting in the mail saying that we don't know what your service line is, but it could be potentially lead, but we don't want people to panic because we don't think we have any lead lines left. But there'll be instructions on there for what to do, and then we can schedule appointments to help come out and identify their lines. So that's one initiative going on. We have other state testing going on as well, and we're finishing up some of the punch list items down at the PFAS plant to get us going. The highway actually just had their annual winter meeting for winter in the middle of a 60-degree day. So So we'll see how everything goes this winter. They're still looking for snowplow drivers. If anyone's interested, they need some drivers to help fill in.
Well, I wonder if we'll need those snowplow drivers. I mean, we're not getting any rain right now. And the last two winters been a little light on the snow. Uh, so we've had dry conditions, and I think this year it was nice that we actually seem to have an actual fall rather than it going from summer to winter like I feel it's done the past couple of years. But how do we feel about the weather coming up? Are we going to get some moisture? Are we going to get some snow, or are we stuck in this drought pattern?
So the long-term forecast that they're looking at now for the winter is for the Northeast to be in an above average temperature and below average precipitation, which doesn't bode well for us. It doesn't mean we couldn't get big snowstorms here and there, which would be beneficial to help recharge the aquifers. But that they generally they look at past patterns that have set up the way we're looking to set up, and it looks like that's pretty much going to fall in line with the winters that have been similar to below average precipitation and above average temperature. So we'll see what happens. Still time for that to change, but one way or the other, yeah, we definitely need some water recharge. Our ground is groundwater levels are very low, and we're going to have to recharge those before next spring. So hopefully you get some type of precipitation throughout that'll help bring that back up to normal.
Yeah, I think there was one day last week where it rained, and I felt like I was seeing rain for the first time in months.
Yeah, it didn't amount to much. The last time we've had a rainstorm that was more than half an inch was back at the beginning of September. So it's just been, last year was the complete opposite, of course. We had 2 to 3 inch rainstorms every time it rained, and we were dealing with floods, and now we're the complete opposite, the drought. So, just nice even keel would be nice. But yeah, it is nice to experience some of the fall. We had a little up and downs. We had 20-degree mornings yesterday, and now we're going to be back to 76 degrees tomorrow. But we'll take it. It saves on the heating bills at least.
Yeah, I mean, how long do you think it's going to be like this, where you have that one week where it's in the 30s and 40s, and then the next week where it's in the 60s and 70s? It seems Mother Nature seems to not know what she wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we would have been past seeing anything in the 70s by now, but here it is again creeping up. So yeah, I like it mid 50s or 60s this time. Yeah, that's good for me. So hopefully we'll get back to some type of normal pattern. I was actually supposed to be going to Florida next week to visit my sister, but she lives in the St. Petersburg, Treasure Island area, and unfortunately, that was the area that got devastated by the back-to-back hurricanes, and they're still in recovery mode. So we had to postpone that trip. To have, it's bad enough to have the one hurricane they had. They had a surge of over 7 feet of water that just devastated everything. We were going to be staying in a first floor condo, and that just got wiped out. And then the second storm came in, and that was all the winds. They had over 100-mile-an-hour winds. Sister said she was out of power for a week and a half. So, yeah, luckily, we were able to, knock on wood, avoid at least that for the year, not having any hurricanes make it up to us. Hopefully, it stays that way.
Well, one of the craziest things about that hurricane, there's lots of crazy things about hurricanes, but was the tornadoes that
Exactly.
they
Yeah.
brought. And I saw one video of a tornado being dropped on a highway that a bunch of people were heading towards to get out. Just scary stuff.
Yeah, devastating. They had over 35, I think it was, tornadoes that day, and it went all the way across to the east coast of Florida. They saw the brunt of the tornadoes on that side, so it was just a bad situation all around for the way those hurricanes kind of come in. It was the first time a hurricane had hit directly there in almost 100 years.
Wow. And it was a late season hurricane too.
Right.
I'd imagine hurricane season's over now, right? Or we got
It technically goes through the end of November. We're on the low end of it, so if something can pick up every now and then. There's one that's going to form in the Gulf starting tomorrow, I believe. It's supposed to head towards Louisiana or Texas, but by the time it hits the coastline, it's supposed to be back down to just tropical storm. So hopefully, it shouldn't be anything too bad for that area.
all right. So what are the odds that we get any snow this winter? Slim to none, low, middle.
It's like I said, they're saying below average precipitation, but again, that doesn't mean you can't have a 1 foot, 15-inch storm, and then if the temperatures are back up, that just melts rapidly because that can happen. So we'll see. We'll see who's right and who's wrong in the long-term models. I'm certainly don't have the ability to try to prognosticate. I'm good at looking at what the other people say is going to happen and trying to average out what the other years have been.
Right. And it's been very interesting looking at the weather, the average temperatures you send, because it's funny. One week it'll be in the 50s, and then the next week it's in the 60s. And
Yeah,
well, I guess we'll see. It's kind of just a wild, wacky weather pattern right now.
yeah, yeah. The last I don't know, 5+ years, it's been getting more and more difficult to have anything constant. So it's all over the place. So
All right, Eric. Well, we'll keep in touch and see if anything changes in the next couple of months or so. Any messages you want to get out there to the people about anything?
just to be on the lookout for those letters coming in. We want people panicking when they get the letters. So these are formulated by the state. We have to use the state and the government's language. So there is language that says you could have potential for lead, but read through the whole letter first. Contact us after that if you have any questions. We'll come out and take a look, see what you have for pipes to do that. And again, we ask people, even though it is late in the season, to still try to help conserve water. Don't be out washing down walkways right now with how dry it is. If you can, we need to try to save it in case we do get that unfortunate, fire, to make sure that we have enough in the supplies.
Yeah, they could use the leaf blower right now to wash down the walk.
Exactly.
All right, Eric. Well, thanks for talking with us, and we'll certainly stay in touch with you, and we'll do this again soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, Tom.